All right, what is up, takers? Welcome back. It is officially Thursday. I don't know about you guys, but it's my weekend. I'm getting started with the weekends already, and I hope you guys are doing the same or soon on your way to the weekend. And coming up on tonight's show, Ty State Today Live, I am, of course, your host and creative broadcasting director, Tyler Belts. We do this each and every Thursday and Sunday, live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And coming up on today's show, we have three guests for you guys. So we're stepping it up a notch. And up first, we will be talking to comedian, author, and philanthropist Barb. So y'all have seen her. She's been all over. So we're going to get into her journey as a comedian, how she got started, some of her inspirations, and her current project, which is currently available on Tubi. I'm not going to give all the secrets away because that is why we have her in the virtual stage. And then, of course, we are going to follow that interview later on in the show with multimedia journalist, storyteller, host of Rocki's Reality, Rocki Harris. I am super excited. And then closing us out tonight is going to be a awesome creative poet by the name of Sonnie the Poet. We're going to talk about his story and, of course, his project and where you can get his book. There you go. I already got my copy, so you guys should do the same. And you already know how we do. We're going to start the show off with a quick where you can find us, facebook.com/at It's Ty's Take Today. Of course, Instagram as well, at It's Ty's Take Today. YouTube. So this is our second season. Our previous first season we did with my fabulous previous co-host, Lacey Horn, who is doing amazing things with Dabo Detroit, CBS Detroit, so many things. So shout outs to my homegirl, Lacey, for holding down the fort as always. And we just recently hit 300 subscribers, or just over 300 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're watching, be sure to go ahead and tap that subscription button so that you guys can get caught up on all our previous episodes, interviews, and behind the scenes. And then, of course, if you're old school, y'all know, y'all aunties, y'all uncles, y'all grandparents, you guys can go and check us out at sizestaketoday.com as well. So also, live streaming. So for those of you that are watching, if you have a question for any of our guests, if you have a question for myself, or if you just want to share your thoughts on the episode, you guys can chime in as always in comment. We'll be sure to share some of the comments, and let's just have a good time tonight. So I am going to give it just a moment because I lost my first guest, but she should be popping back up any moment. But in the meantime, I hope everybody is doing extremely well. I know. It's almost the weekend. I love that I start my weekends on Thursdays. So that being said, it's the weekend for me. But I am going to just delay one moment. And there we go. All right. So all my guests are here in the virtual room. I see y'all looking good. Got Rocki and Sonnie, the poet. We're doing it. So without further ado, like I said, you guys can share your comments in the YouTube comments or on Facebook. But right now, make some noise, get loud. It's the weekend already for us, for some of us. Barb.
What up, though? I'm in the building, and thank you for having me
Yes.
today.
Yes. Hey, technology is not working with me either. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us as always. And I really just want to take some time to give you your flowers. I've been seeing you local 4, hosting Live in the D. I've been seeing you comedy shows, all of the things, all of the projects. So I really just want to give you your flowers first off. And of course, introduce you to our audience and really tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Oh, thank you so much. First, I want to accept those flowers. Thank you. They smell nice. I appreciate that, especially when you've been working hard. So to have that acknowledgement is everything. But for the people who don't know me, my name is Barb. That's TBARB. Of course, you can see the name under there. I'm a comedian, an actress, and a philanthropist. Right here from Detroit, Michigan, where I am. I'm from a neighborhood called Joy Road. I grew up with humble beginnings. I'm an HBCU grad, an MBA from the University of Detroit Mercy, and I was a social worker for 14 years, which is actually how I know one of the other guests on the show today, who is a podcaster. But we were at the state of Michigan for many years together, and I stepped out on faith to do comedy. So A coworker invited me to do an open mic. I decided to do it. I loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. A lot of people know me from my viral series called Only in Detroit, where I give the "What up, dog?" So I do voiceovers, I do skits. I'm really a stand-up comedian at the core of the heart. I just got into my acting journey. I just started doing shows and stuff, which we'll talk about. So that's a little bit about who I am. And I'm your favorite retired hood rat. And don't forget, relapse is a part of recovery. So sometimes I slap back, but I'm here now. He
Hey,
saw the best in me.
when necessary, we do what we have to do, right? Simple.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm
So
saying.
I know you said you had started, you were working with working for the state of Michigan, and what was that defining moment where you were like, maybe I need to remove myself from this type of career field, and really, when did you dive in? It was like, this is my moment. I'm gonna give comedy a try.
So what happened was it was just kind of like a fluke thing. Like, I would be in the office
Career
acting
fields.
up, clowning. I never thought of comedy as like a career. So I just want to make sure I make that point because there are people who are listening who maybe have talents who don't think of those talents as being next level or something that you can really pursue. So I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was in a bad time in my life. And sometimes they say you got to hit the bottom to go up. So I had just broke up with my boyfriend, my longtime boyfriend. I was broke up with my friends. I just was down and out, and I figured, why not? A friend asked me to do 3 minutes, which seems like no time, but on stage, it feels like an eternity. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna try it. So when I tried it, it was like a light went off. Like if you've been in the dark, how sometimes you're in a low lit situation, but you can really see. But then when somebody turns on the light, you like, hold on. I didn't see my nephew in the corner. I've been in here with you for 10 minutes. I didn't see these little things. So as soon as I started, that's when I was like, wow. And just understanding how life works and how time is constantly evolving. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this because I didn't want to live with any regrets. A lot of times we regret things or we think, well, dang, if I would have did this. I was like, yo, if it don't work out, I still have this education. I can always go back to work. But I'm gonna try. And don't be wrong, I made a plan. Nah, I ain't telling y'all to be unemployed for nothing. Don't even step out like T Barb did it. I could just no, 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 baby. Baby, the mattress was on the floor. I had a 99 Ford Ranger that had the roll-up window. Remember the roll-up? People was clowning me. I'm parking in the back, getting out cute, hot as hell, air not working. But I decided to take those concessions just to step out and what it is I want to do. So that's when the light went off. The minute I helped on the stage, and then I want to say maybe 6 months later, I said, you know what? I need to devise a plan where I can quit my job eventually and just really try and see what it's like to just do this. And that's what I did.
And you're doing the damn thing. Excuse my language, but I'm just being authentic and honest.
Okay.
Um,
Damn, ain't no cuss word on Joy Rose. Say it again. Say
C
that
Barb
word.
go get C Barb said you can say all the things on Joy Road.
All the things.
So I want to talk a little bit about, what are some obstacles or challenges that you faced early on, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Oh my God, so many obstacles. First off, you have to overcome the obstacle of your own mind. I think a lot of times we really psych ourselves out of things. So that's the big first obstacle is you, and understanding that it starts with you. You have to believe in it. I do what they say is fake it till you make it. Every time I get up there, I do something comedic. I'm not always 1000% confident about it, but I psych my mind out to just be like, you got it, girl. You got, even if people probably think I'm crazy. I'm walking down the street like, girl, you got it. You got it. You go, girl. So psyching myself, I was first. Second, finances. A lot of times we don't want to quit because I have a son, I had a house, I had a car. So finances, but we don't realize sometimes if we make a sacrifice, maybe take a concession on a car or some items or going out or enjoying certain things to make our goals happen, then we can. But I face the obstacle of people just not believing. That's why I say you have to be so confident in believing in yourself because nobody believes in it until it's working. People are like, what? The comedy? how old are you? You that funny? Oh, I don't. I mean, it was just so much opposition from people, and also you have to be prepared to walk alone. You know, it was a lot of times I wasn't getting praise, or people wasn't like, oh yeah, people was looking at me like I was stupid for a long time. I'm stupid, but in a good way. It's a funny stupid. And so those were the obstacles. I think the biggest obstacles is yourself, resources, and then also just what do they say? Ignoring the noise, ignoring others. Because I was one of those people that would, you know how sometimes Ty, you'll ask somebody like, "What you think about this?" And you really already know what you want to do, but you want them to validate, like, "Girl, you like this outfit," and your friend like, and you thinking, "I really wanted to wear this. I was asking you so you can hype me up," and they like, so you just have to really just be like, "Yo, I'm doing this whether they messing with me or not. I'm gonna find a way to finance it," and when you don't give yourself any other outlets but to make this work, you'll find that you can make it work.
Absolutely. And can you I know you're like, for you, you're very real. You're just like this our conversation, so your comedic style is really relatable and real. Where do you draw like inspiration for your material? I know you've talked previously about, not really talking about politics or, say the most controversial things that are going on, especially in today's climate. But where do you pull your inspiration or some of your inspiration from?
You know, and you're right. I am not overly political. I do have some political jokes, but I'm not overly. I'm one of those people that I feel like you're coming to me to laugh and get away from the stress. So I mean, and I touch on it lightly, but I'm not. We're not going to go into a full. I have a few political jokes, but they're nonpartisan type of things. I draw a lot of my comedy just from my life. I've lived such a complex life. My parents met fresh out of prisons for real. So I was raised by dolphins. So that's material in itself. I went to college by myself. I have a son, and kids tend to do a lot of funny things that they cross culture, that crosses social economic status, that crosses cultural. You know what I mean? Some things just cross boundaries for everybody. Everybody knows a fat kid, whether it's your kid, the neighbor kid, or just a kid you seen dancing in the line at Kroger. For their mama got a burger and and they in there doing all this. Everybody has experienced that. So I try to draw my inspiration for things that's just everyday life. I was a social worker for 14 years, so I kind of lean on that a lot more than I think I do. And I'm just a more of a everyday what's funny about life type of comedian. And I make a lot of fun of myself, but I think a lot of comedians do that.
Absolutely. It's always good when you can make a joke or laugh or get people laughing about yourself. Like that's like I joke about myself all the time. So not only being a comedian, I also know that you are an author. So I want to
Yes, look
talk.
at me.
I got to get my
Here's one of my
copies
books.
because I want to talk a little bit about that experience as an author. I know you have Faith Over Fear, Tales of a Retired Hood Rat, and the Hood Rat Kitchen Vegan Cookbook.
Yes.
So I need to know because I'm going to be fully transparent with our audience here with you. I said, come January, I'm going to be a vegan. And I've done it like for a month and a half and I was cool with it. But like, I'm struggling. So I need my book to hurry up and come.
Ty, we need to get you one of these. We gotta get you the Hood Rat Kitchen. Um, so okay. So I am a self-published author. And the I love the present because there's so many things that you can do for yourself that before you needed a publisher, you needed somebody to have your back, but you can go out there and you can create your own books on your own. And the Hood Rat Kitchen Vegan Cookbook came from what you were saying. I stopped eating meat 9 years ago. Wow. I wasn't always a vegan though. I started with being a vegetarian, cheese, eggs. I went over to pescatarian for some time, and I've been a vegan now for about a year and a half, maybe almost two. And I wrote this book because I was tired of people offering me either salad or thinking all my food was like cardboard. Okay. First off, I don't want no salad. Okay. And 9 times out of 10, you trying to put cheese and turkey and salami. It ain't even a salad no more. Have you ever seen a Detroit salad? It's crazy. They be having corned beef on it. That's not a salad. So it's just an open sandwich. So they got burnt cheeseburger on the salad in Detroit. So so it came out of necessity of being hungry and not wanting to just eat nasty stuff. And also I wrote this book over the pandemic when a lot of people were suffering with health issues. And I wanted people to know that food can make you healthy. Like for instance, we know vitamin C. Well, a lot of people eat oranges, but bell peppers actually have 120% of your daily suggested vitamin C. So, just eating a raw bell pepper, adding that to your salad can make you healthier. And I also wanted to just talk about simple stuff. So, in the book, everything is ghetto. Like, I got the freaky frittata, I got the joy roll, I got devilish. Like, I tried to name them real hood. Let's Get Fried is one of my favorite recipes. Which is a tofu recipe because tofu can be nasty. But I try and make it a little better. So that's the Hood Rat Kitchen. And then the Odie Oats. I thought that was funny. That's the oatmeal. Odie Oats, I call it. And with Faith Over Fear Tells Retired Hood Rat, it's a short motivational memoir. It's something that if you're a reader, you can read it in a couple of hours. And it was just an ode to people who come out the mud. I know a lot of times, especially with me growing up with parents that were dope fiends that were fresh out of prison. And shout out to my parents because they were there the whole time with their afflictions and dancing on the corner and everything. I was right there with them, they was always with me. And I just wanted to let people from my type of background or anybody, honestly, that started with any adversity to understand that you can make it too. Life is what you make it. I have a lot of motivational quotes. I tell a lot of my ghetto stories. Why I consider myself a retired hood rat? Because I get that question a lot. Like, you have a master's or you this. Why would you say you're a retired hood rat? Because at one time I was. And a hood rat is not just about promiscuity. It's a person who's down for the hood. To me, Kim Kardashian was a hood rat at one point in time. She was doing what she was riding for the hood. Now, was it Beverly Hills and Calabasas? Yeah, but that was her hood. Mine's just happened to be Joy Road. It's just a little different. That's all.
It's just a
Um,
little different.
just a little
Just a
different,
little bit.
just not that much.
So now, of course, I do have to switch gears a little bit and talk to you about your latest project, which is Only in the Hood.
Only in my
Only in
hood.
my hood. I stand
Yeah.
corrected. Only in my hood. And can you tell us a little bit more about that and where people can watch and what can we expect when we tune in?
Oh, thank you for asking, Ty. I thought you would never. And shout out to producer Bay, who is the executive producer on this project with me, who linked us. So, Only in My Hood is now streaming on Tubi, and I consider myself the Bob Saget of the hood. Okay, and if you know who Bob Saget is, that's the guy who did a show called America's Funniest Home Videos. And Only in My Hood is like that. We are watching viral internet clips and laughing. It's like you're sitting on the couch with us. I have a plethora of comedy friends. We have performers, everybody from Swifty McVeigh from the famous D12, which was Eminem's group. We have Daddy Speed, who was the father to famous streamer I Show Speed. We have Melanie Hearn. We have Judge Miles. We have Comic J Will. We have so many comedic talents that you may or may not have heard of. And we sit on the couch, we watch internet clips, we laugh together with you, and then at the end, I get all up in their business, Ty. You hear me? I'm asking how they seen somebody do drugs. Do comedians date each other? Do they get drunk on stage? How is it? So a lot of people like that part because it's tea with T-Barb, okay? T-Barb, sipping that tea. And it's on Tubi, which is free. I love that Tubi is free. You don't need the app. You can go Google Only in My Hood on Tubi. It's super funny. 6 episodes, hilarious, okay? And let's say you don't like to laugh. Let it play while you taking a doo-doo. I don't care. Just watch it.
Just watch
Please.
it, support it,
Please, please,
love it.
please.
And yes, shout outs to producer Bay. Producer Bay is amazing. Got a shout out to her. And I actually do. I think we have a clip. So if you don't mind, we're gonna go ahead and
Yes,
share a
I
little
I
preview.
love that.
Let's go. Let's go ahead and
Let's
pull
do
up
it.
that script. Or I'm sorry, that teaser. One moment. Hey, I'm playing host. I'm playing producer.
Listen, you
I'm
doing
doing all the
everything.
things.
We done clicked off 3 times, had to change backgrounds. You set designing. You doing
You
everything.
already know. All right.
All right.
So for those of you that are maybe just joining us, this is just a teaser of T Barb's latest project, which is currently streaming on Tubi. Let's go and take a look.
Let's take a look.
What up, though? And welcome to Only in My Hood, Your Hood, and Everybody Hood.
On my mama, on my hood, only in my hood.
Oh my God. Well, he know he need a whooping. The newest hit show that's gonna keep you laughing. You know all those viral internet clips you love to watch? Now you can watch them right on your TV with us. We can all talk about what's going on and what's funny.
The cat looks like they believe that baby at home with that cell phone style. I'm tired of watching y'all kids.
Starring your girl, me. I'm your host, your girl comedian T Barb. Today we're here to make you laugh to the moon with my co-host, my number one dog, the number one bunny in the game, the baddest bunny. What? It's your girl, Bunny the blogger. Make sure you tune in to Only in My Hood because we're gonna be laughing and we want you to laugh with us.
I had somebody follow me out, run up.
I've been to weekend jail.
Oh, that ass.
I remember.
Only in my hood. My hood.
So if I could tell you, I started watching the other day, and all day today I have been singing the theme song.
The song Daddy Speed made that song. Shout out to Daddy Speed and DJ Thriller. And that song is catchy, isn't it? Only my hood, only my hood. I sing it all day long too. So thank you. He did a great job with that.
Yes. So where did the idea for this project and begin? And can we expect any season 2 or more episodes to come? Can we talk about what's coming?
Okay, so producer Bay and she came to me. She said, "Look, I like the idea of comedians watching some clips. Let's put it together." And we just got to work from that moment. So I love it. It was some Black Girl Magic collaboration. And then once we got to talking about it, it just started flowing. And we understood the need. Like, first off, people are constantly on my Instagram page laughing at Only in Detroit, laughing at everything that I do on the internet. So why not bring that to the masses? And we also understood the need to have a urban show of that nature. Well, you see a lot of shows where they're watching clips, but we need that show to have that feel that we like to have. You know what I mean? That funny and of course for me to host, I'm a great host. So I love that. You know, there may be a season 2. We'll let you know. And I have some acting stuff going on right now. Like I'm in season 2 of The Stranger in Our House, which is another series on Tubi. That'll be coming out in a couple months. That's a more serious role. I'm getting my detective on, in that one. And we may be taking Only in My Hood on the road. So look forward to that all across the country. Right now I'm in transition where I'm between LA and Detroit. So you can just look forward to seeing me do a lot more stuff in LA, a lot more stuff on TV. And if you want to know, or if you feel like we really need a season 2, that's why I need you to go watch season 1 of Only in My Hood and like it. When you get on the thing, make sure you like it, make sure you save it to your things to watch. And if the demand is right, T-Bob will be there tonight.
Hey, and I also want to say I know y'all, if you guys are gonna do a live tour, I know Detroit's probably on that tour list. But if you guys aren't coming to Ohio, I'm bringing my ass back to Detroit because I have to see this live. I also want to talk. I'm a big reader, as you can tell. I have all these inspirational books behind me. That's one of the something that I really enjoy doing. And we talk also a lot about mental health on our platform with all of our guests. So something that really stuck out to me is one of your favorite quotes. Is "You don't have to stay where you start." And that really stuck out to me. So I want to talk a little bit about that and just some of your inspirations as a whole.
Well, thank you. I do. I love that saying. That is one of my favorite you don't have to stay where you start. And it just, to me, once again, even with going to the book, The Faith Over Fear, Tales Retired Hood Rat, it's just about understanding that you don't, wherever you want, you can have it. And you're going to start right here. But as long as you start walking, you don't have to stay there. That's just like if you're walking, let's say I'm walking from Detroit to Ohio. It may seem like such a far route, but if I just keep putting my feet in front of each other, I'll look back and see how far behind that was. I don't have to stay there. I can go wherever I want. If you started off and you're in a household with less than, you started off, you're in a poor community, you don't have much, you don't have to stay there. You can really go where it is that you want to go and have that determination. And I know that a lot of young people, a lot of older people, to be honest, haven't really been given that self-esteem piece that helps with that mental health, that love, that internal love, told that they are worthy, that they are worth something. So many people are constantly tore down every day. You're nobody, you're nothing. And but I want you to know that you are somebody, that you can make those strides, that everything doesn't have to be you get on a plane to get there. Sometimes you're gonna walk. But in that walk, you're going to learn so much that those people that skip those hard steps would have never learned. So I always tell people overnight success usually means overnight failure. So when you see these songs, I always give the example of this, and I'm not trying to dog this guy because I always give this example. Poor baby. Remember the song, This Is Why I'm Hot?
Yes.
This Is Why I'm Hot. That was the jam the whole summer. You don't even know where he at now. You ain't heard another song from him. It was overnight. I'm talking about on fire. This is why I'm hot. I'm like, damn, I'm cold, but I'm still, this is why I'm hot. It was just there. And but you think about some of those other artists who during that time I was like, dang, why it's not me? Why it's not me? Some of them have that longevity. You got Too Short, you got Stevie Wonder, you got people that have made hits. They're a part of the culture forever. And it may have taken them a little longer to get there, but they didn't stay where they started. So that's kind of my thought.
Absolutely. T Barb, I could talk to you for hours. I think I just made a new best friend up in here.
You did. And I feel bad because you got other people to talk to, baby. Because I will keep on talking if you didn't know.
So before we get out of here, I do have a game of rapid fire that we usually play with all of our guests. Completely fun, random questions that we don't send our guests ahead of time. Starting us off, if you're down to play.
I'm
If
ready.
you had
Look
to
at my face. Okay.
if you had to survive in the wild with just 3 things from a Detroit corner store, what would you grab?
3 things from a Detroit corner store. A lighter. Gotta have a lighter. A lighter. I'm stuck in lighter. A knife and a gun. They got a gun at the Detroit corner store, so I'm together. You said Detroit. You ain't say Myers. So
Right.
I can get a gun, I can get some fire and a knife.
If you could swap lives with any
I was gonna
Detroit,
say a pit bull puppy because I need companionship, but it depends on what gas station you at.
if you if you could swap lives with any Detroit legend for a day, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
And because she used to go to KFC every damn day, and ain't nobody say shit to her, excuse my language. So I want to be able to do what I want to do. Okay.
If you could pick a theme song that plays every time you walk into a room, what would it be?
Dang, now that one is hard. I'm gonna say she's a bad mama jama.
Yes.
Cue the band. Do I get the man who sing with just that line?
Hey, once we get some sponsors, I'll give you the full band, the full.
Listen, I want to walk
give you it
in.
all.
Hey, she's a bad mama jama. Because I was gonna go with some Sexy Red, but I'm a retired hood rat. And I was gonna have you come in and say bow, 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 but I ain't gonna do that to the people. I'm gonna stay classy.
And then T-Barb, and I'm not trying to put you in trouble with Detroit music artists with this next one, but if you could only select 2 Detroit music artists to listen to for the rest of your life, who would you pick?
Just 2 period. Just 2. Just 2, 1, 2. I'm gonna go with Cash Style. Because of course Cash Style gonna make you feel good. She gonna hit all all of the things. I love cast style. Shout out to Dexter. And dang, woo. Cause I already got cash for the rap, so I don't want to T Grizzly and then I'm gonna be out here trying to rob people. So let me go with I'm gonna go with Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye and Cash Doll. That's the two T-Barb personalities anyway.
I like it. I like it. I like it. T-Barb, I want to say thank you so much for joining us this evening. Be sure for all of our audience out there, if you guys haven't already, be sure to follow her on Instagram at I am T-Barb. tbarbisfunny.com, and I am super excited to see what's next and hopefully a tour with your new project. Y'all
Only
need to go run it up.
Tour, you never know. It might be a T-Barb tour. Hell, Cat Williams might call me after he see me on this with you, Ty. You never know. So
all I say is don't forget about us
me.
small people, okay?
I'll never forget about Ohio.
Hold on though. Originally from Michigan. Let's
okay. All right. Well, I ain't
not
gonna
from
put
here.
Ohio off on you. I mean, I was just trying to shout out where you live in now, but since you ain't claiming them, Michigan.
Michigan. We'll say Michigan. Awesome. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you so much. And I'll be sharing it with everybody. Everybody tune in every week.
Absolutely. We'll be sure to put T-Barb's social media on the description of this video, as well as in the captions. Up next, we're going to keep the party going nonstop, is one of my favorite multimedia personalities and storytellers in Detroit. She is phenomenal. She is the host of Rocki's Reality, and she is just, excuse my language, an overall badass. So without further ado, please welcome to the virtual stage, Rocki Harris. Rocki, I think we might have you muted.
Right. The last few words for the past 5 years, you may be muted. Hey, Ty. Hey, everyone. Hey, takers.
Absolutely. So I just want to say, first of all, I'm so honored to have you on our platform. I know we've connected. I haven't gotten the chance to meet you in person, but I just want to give you your flowers like I did our previous guest. You are doing it with so many different projects, and I know you're no stranger to the industry. So I really just want to say thank you so much and give you your flowers and really introduce you to our audience for those that may not be familiar with you.
Thank you. And actually, Ty, we did meet years ago.
Was I a baby?
This was like pre-pandemic, so I understand if we forget because it's been like a damn time warp since the pandemic. But we met years ago in Ferndale when I was interviewing Kirby Gwen.
Yes,
and you came up to her. So we didn't meet, but yeah, I do remember that. So, but nice to see you again, and I look forward to seeing you in person again.
Yes, absolutely. I feel so bad, but yes, I remember Java.
No, that's okay. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's like my brain gets wiped as well, but I admire how you came up and you chatted with Kirby Gwen. So you always had a magnetic personality. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you in person. So thank you again. I'm honored.
Yes, absolutely. And I just really want to talk to you about how did you get started in this industry? I know it's been a long time. So what really inspired you? And, tell our takers who you are.
Okay. Well, everyone, I am Rocki Harris, government name Raquel, but you can call me Rocki with an I. I got into media about, oh my God, it'll be 10 years this November, actually. Time flies, but I have always been a lifelong writer and reader, just always loved telling stories. I've always loved anything entertainment and media. I was someone who woke up in the morning listening to Hello Detroit by Sammy Davis Jr., listening to Mason in the morning on the radio and Lisa on 96.3. So I've always been like a radio and media junkie and a writer. So after I went to school for social work and got my good government job and my 9 to 5 with that, I did the traditional thing of going to college and graduating. I always just had this love for radio and media. And so after I graduated from college, got a job as a social worker, and I just love to write. So I wanted to put my writing out here. And so a friend suggested that I start submitting my work to blogs. And so I submitted my work to some blogs, and one blog I submitted it to is called For Harriet. It's still around now. It's run by Kimberlyn Foster, and it's pretty much a women's pro-Black site, if the best way to describe it. All things women and just uplifting Black women. And so I wrote a piece called We've All Been Mary Jane. We've all been Mary Jane. If you all remember the show with Gabrielle Union being Mary Jane that came on BET, and it was like one of my favorite shows because it really captured who we are as Black women. All the can I curse?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, because I gotta ask, because I curse. So all the shit we go through as Black women, as far as the glass ceiling we have to break through, dealing with our families, dealing with our friends, and being Mary Jane was just dealing with a lot of stuff. And so one time I was on Facebook and I saw a comment that said, "It's time to watch Being a Hoe." And I'm like, damn, why she dissing Mary Jane like that? So I'm like, So I asked the lady, I'm like, why did you say being a hoe, even though you're watching the show? So you obviously like watching her be a hoe. But the thing about Mary Jane was she was sexually liberated. She was a single woman. She wanted to have kids, but she was doing her thing. But besides that, she was a great career woman and a journalist as well. And so in my mind, I feel like all of us have been Mary Jane. Whether at some point in our lives, you're not exactly like Mary Jane, but all of us have dealt with the bullshit with our careers. We've all dealt with families who have demands on us. We've all dealt with trying to find ourselves, making mistakes, having issues with friends, making up, breaking up, dealing with trifling men or whatever, finding the love of our lives. So we've all dealt with some of those things. And so I wrote an article for Harriet called We've All Been Mary Jane. And so, and shout out to Portia Monique. We went to high school together. We weren't friends in high school. We just knew of each other. But she reached out to me on Facebook and she's like, I read your article and We've All Been Mary Jane. And would you like to write for Rolling Out? And at the time I was like, okay. Because I had did a few things for thisisrnb.com, which I'm still writing for them because music was always my first love. And so she reached out to me and I'm like, okay, what do I write about? And she's like, well, I'm trying to pretty much get the Detroit satellite office started of Rolling Out, which is a national publication, which they're actually celebrating 25 years in business now. And so I just started writing for Rolling Out, started covering events, covering concerts, celebrities, all of that stuff. And my first event that I covered was the Tucks and Chucks annual fundraiser. And my first celebrity interview was Slim from 112. And just from there on, Portia and I were just like peas and carrots. We were covering different events around the city. And then eventually I just started writing for some more publications. And then eventually, because I've always wanted to be on the radio, I eventually in 2017 started Rocki's Reality, my podcast. And that has the podcast let me back up a little bit. I went to Specs Howard as well because Sally Mae was knocking, wanting these damn repayment loans. And I was like, look, Sally Mae, I ain't got it. Okay. I ain't got it. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, let me get back in school. And I knew I didn't want to continue in my career as a social worker. I didn't want to continue as far as education wise. And so I went back to Specs Howard, got my broadcast media arts diploma. And during that time, one of the assignments was to start a blog. And so I started Rocki's Reality, where I was just talking and observing different things and giving my opinion on it. And so that just snowballed into me. I was like, you know what? After I graduated, getting into traditional radio, as we know, especially like in a market like Detroit, it's a lot of politics, it's a lot of dynamics, it's a lot of bureaucracy. And I have a family, so I couldn't just move away to Lansing or Port Huron just to be on the radio. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my podcast. That way I ain't got to worry about the FCC telling me what the fuck
what you can and can't say.
Exactly, because I like to curse. I like to say fuck, shit, goddamn, all of that. And I just wanted to be able to formulate the show the way I wanted to. And as a social worker, I wanted to also bring to the forefront different issues that us as a community don't pay attention to. And so that's the long and short of how I got in it. And I'm just, here I am.
Absolutely. I recall I was hired in for a major radio station company, which now the name has changed. But I remember they were like all the time every year, Tyler, you keep calling up the radio station. You keep calling up the radio station. When you going to turn 18 so you can come in and we can hire you. So long story short, like 2 weeks or a week before my 18th birthday, I remember going in, sitting down in the program director's office, signing those papers, and no previous background, no previous training or experience. And for me at the time, I was young. I was working multiple jobs, working as a host at a restaurant in downtown Detroit. So I might have made a mistake, and I had called off, made sure somebody covered my shift, but be careful what you post on social media, because social media and your coworkers may not be your coworkers, and they may not be your friends. Yeah. And thankfully for me, I was started in the industry so young that I learned my lesson, because nowadays the way the radio industry and just entertainment as a whole, it's a part of the job, like you said. So not, having a family and having to have that stability, it's best to not have to censor yourself sometimes, and you can have your own platform and you can have your own voice and talk about topics that truly matter, and those conversations that generally are overlooked or swept under the rug.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk a little bit about, what sets you apart from, say, other storytellers, because I know nowadays, like I mentioned, everybody has a podcast, just like everybody's a rapper, which is fine. Like if you're there's enough space, and I say that to, let me be clear, there's enough space for all of us.
Right, absolutely. So what sets me apart? My tagline is unfiltered and unapologetic, and I'm someone who I can be professional and upstanding, and I can be hood as fuck and tell you what's up. I think my ability to pivot and show up in different spaces. I can be professional if I need to, but I can also get down to it. And I'm someone, I think my authenticity and being transparent with my journey and things that I go through is what draws people to me at times. And I have this knack for, when I interview, I get people to tell me stuff that they haven't told others. It's always like, oh, I never get that question. So a lot of times my questions are very in-depth and insightful. I'm not just doing surface stuff. Even with me writing and the stories that I would tell, and I'm gifted as a writer. I don't want to be like, pumping my chest up, but it's a gift that I know God has given me to tell stories, because the way I can pull people in. But also just the people who I pick are not always going to be everyone's favorite. I don't have a problem dealing with or conquering taboo or polarizing topics. I mean, you've seen me, you see, like I'm with the smoke every time. I don't give a fuck. I'm an Aries. We gonna go there if we need to go there. But I also have a sense of compassion, and I'm an empath as well. So I am able to sense and detect certain things about my guests, and I'm able to pull that out. And I'm like a huge cheerleader and motivator. Listen, I'm like a eternal optimist. If it ain't happening now, it's going to happen. And that's something that I think I know I've instilled in my guests. And again, bring it to the forefront stuff that people don't want to talk about as much, like legalization of marijuana, infertility, and I've had political figures on, and the range also. I've had political figures on. I've had entrepreneurs on. I've had celebrities on. So I believe the range that I offer, and just the way that I'm just not afraid to take risks. I'm not afraid to go there if necessary, and I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm not someone who tries to impress others. It is what it is. This is how the fuck I am. Like this is who I am. I can't sugarcoat things for people. So I think I bring that realness that is missing a lot of times in the social media era, because we're all about the filters and putting on airs. And I'm not mad at anyone who does it, but I just show up as my authentic self. And I think that encourages other people to show up as their authentic self when I've shared parts of my story.
Absolutely. And speaking of guests and topics, are there any dream guests that you want to manifest that you're working on to interview, and any upcoming projects, and really overall, with the media industry constantly evolving and changing, where do you see yourself and your platform further into 2025 and so on?
Well, my dream guest, and I have a list because I make a list. I'll tell you a few: Michelle Obama, Mary J. Blige, and I'm hoping this year I'll get Faith Evans on the show. Those are in the near future, though. Next week I'm gonna have Divinity Rocks. She is a guitarist who used to play with Beyonce, and she's done all this awesome shit. So she's a dope chick. If you all don't know who she is, look her up. And I'm hoping in the near future to get Charity from Detroit. So I'm hoping to get her singer, songwriter, and poet, Charity. She has the song Cruel, and she got the remix with Snoop Dogg. Let me see who else. I mean, it's just like so many people, but I appreciate how people see they see the authenticity and integrity in my platform. They know that I'm not going to bullshit you. I don't believe in getting over on people. So, but yeah, Mary J. Blige, Michelle Obama, and I'm hoping Charity will come on. And then definitely this year, Faith Evans. Who else would I like to have on? It's so many people. I mean, it's just so many that I have a list of, and not always just celebrities, right? Like I really believe people in their stories matter, even if you're not famous. So I'm really just looking forward to exploring some different things in 2025. So I can't reveal it all. Stay tuned. So follow me so you can see. But we just getting started. I'll be back on there next Thursday, 7 p.m.
And that's and so that's when you typically air, right? On YouTube and Roku TV as well.
I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and Roku, and I air live on the Soul TV platform as well, which has over 2 million Facebook followers, and they're on Roku. Soul TV is on Roku, so yes. But yep, you can also catch it on YouTube live.
Absolutely. So you guys just have to stay tuned to see what's next from Rocki. Rocki, before you get out of here, I do want to play a quick game of rapid fire questions with you.
Okay.
If you're down. So like I said earlier,
I've got about 10 minutes. I've got about 10 minutes. I know I was rushing, and I appreciate you accommodating me. So my apologies. I know how it is when we're trying to be on time, and I'm someone who tries to be on time, but I had to race from Lansing today. And the weather was kind of crazy too. So I appreciate you accommodating me, Ty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime, being somebody that's well familiar with the industry and this crazy weather that Michigan has been getting lately. So I completely understand. My first question for the rapid fire is, what is one song that instantly boosts your mood?
As by Stevie Wonder.
And then if you weren't a journalist and storyteller, what career do you think you'd have?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's crazy. Ooh. I would say, which I have also gotten into, I will be further into, I'm a publicist as well. So I think I would be a publicist more so longer, because I've only been in it about 3 years now. So I think I would have been a publicist or possibly an attorney. So, yeah.
Okay. And then what is your guilty pleasure TV show or movie? And I think I might know what you might say, but I might be wrong.
Okay, so I am a Real Housewives fan, but I'm kind of getting leery of them because it's just really toxic, and I'm kind of like outgrowing all of the madness. My current guilty pleasure that I love is Found on NBC. But I'm someone, I love crime. I'm come from the Scarface era, so I'm like a murder, death, kill, sex, drugs type person. So anything you like, Scarface, Godfather, those are my favorite movies, Heat, things like that. But I also love like thrillers and mysteries. So Found on NBC, which has my girl from what used to be a guilty pleasure, was Shameless on Showtime. That was one of my favorite shows. But the actress on there. So yeah, Found is a really good show that I'm into now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Really great show because it's got Zach from Saved by the Bell on it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to.
Yeah,
check it out
definitely.
for sure.
And he's fine too. He looking fine too.
And then if you could use only 3 words to describe Rocki's reality, what would they be?
I would say relevant. I would say relevant. Gosh, that's hard. I don't want to say unfiltered and unapologetic because I've already said that. But relevant, authentic, and just wild at times. Sometimes it's a bit wild. Sometimes I might go off the rails. Like I'm unpredictable at times. But I would say relevant. I would say authentic and wild.
There we go. Technology not working in my favor. Absolutely. Rocki, I just want to say thank you so much again for joining us. Once again, for those that may be just tuning in, can you also let them know one more time where they can find you on all social media platforms?
You can find me at Rocki's Reality. That is ROCKIS. REALITY. And also Right Down to It is my other page. That's where I do a lot of my writing and media stuff because I still contribute to platforms such as blacklove.com, Billboard, Vibe, thisisrnb.com. So I'm always going to be a writer. So Right Down to It is also where you can find me in Rocki's Reality.
Absolutely. And I know you, like you mentioned earlier, you have another episode airing live on Thursday. So be sure to tune into that.
Actually, I'll be on, we usually start around 7, but this time we're starting at 7:30 p.m. And again, the guest is going to be Divinity Rocks, ROXX Divinity and ROXX. Again, she's a guitarist. I don't know if you've ever seen Black Women Rock here in Detroit, the Jessica Care Moore production, but Divinity, she's been a part of that. And she's just an all-around dope Black chick. She has a children's CD album that was actually, look at me saying CD. Ooh, I'm dating myself, y'all. I come from the days of CDs. She has actually a Grammy nominated album that's out now. So she'll be on. And then in March, we'll see what's going to happen. Because I always like to go with a theme. So March will be Women's History Month. So I'll probably have some dope women on for that. And of course, Black History Month is here. So so that's next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, we'll be live on Facebook, YouTube, and Roku under the Soul TV platform.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to go ahead and reshare the live on Thursday and all of your social media on our platform. I just want to say thank you again so much for giving us some of your time this evening. And I'm looking forward to seeing what 2025 and the future has in store for you, as always.
All right. Thank you so much, Ty. I appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you again.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
You too. All right. So for those of you that may be just tuning in, we are currently live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Be sure to go ahead and share your take and your thoughts in the comments, as always, and be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Everything is pretty much at It's Ty's Take today. And then if you were late to the party, our previous first interview was comedian and author Barb. So you guys are going to want to go ahead and check it out, this full video after the live, just to get caught up in case you missed some parts. And then that just was multimedia personality, journalist, and host of Rocki's Reality, Rocki Harris. Up next on the show, we are keeping the guests coming, is a poet and all-around creative who goes by the name of Sonnie the Poet. Excuse me. I need to take a sip of my water. Actually, that's how you know we're live. And it's Kroger breads, but it's not endorsed yet. So Kroger, if anybody out there works for Kroger, go ahead and get that endorsement deal for us. Or I'm gonna just manifest it right now. If those of you that follow me on Instagram, you may have saw my picture of me with the 8 Mile vodka. Your boy's a gin drinker, but I also like some vodka from time to time. So shout outs to 8 Mile Vodka. If you guys want to sponsor your boy's podcast, y'all know where to find me. Without further ado, I'm adding our next guest to the virtual stage. Make some noise for Sonnie.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's been a jam-packed episode, so thank you so much for waiting a little bit in the virtual backstage room.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was actually very entertaining to watch, and I resonated with so much from both of them, actually.
Absolutely. Dropping gems. It just I think this is probably one of our first episodes where I've really like laughed and it have been like all around just I felt like I was at a comedy show with T Barb and then
Yes.
Rocki is just they're both two creative individuals. So I want to go ahead and introduce you and your talents to our audience for those of you that may be watching that may not be familiar. And really I know you're just an all-around creative. So when did you first find a passion and a love for poetry and just overall being a creative?
Poetry is interesting. But being an overall creative, I've always written songs since I was like a kid, since I was 12 years old. We used to go to like around the corner. There was this guy, his name was Mario, and he would record my songs, my brother's songs, my cousin's songs, and it was so cute. I wish I can find some of those songs because I'm sure they're cringe, and I'm tapping into my cringiness right now. It just seems like it's more like authentic me. So I want to go and find them. But I've been writing songs all my life, and then poetry didn't come to me as far as me doing it until high school. I had this one teacher who made such a really good impression on me called Mr. Uncle, called Mr. Uncle. And then I had another one, Mr. C, who I competed for debate and forensics competitively, and so poetry was one of those topics, and it was like the most animated and most like interpretive topic, and it was like there were deeper meanings beyond everything, and I was like, this is fun. So I like tapped into it a little bit more, and by the time I got to college, I was having a fun night with two of my friends, and we were just in the car having a session, and then I just was in the back writing poetry back there, and then I was like, this is actually really good. I should keep doing this, and I've been doing it since. And wow, that's almost 10 years for me too.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Can you tell our audience a little bit about your creative process and when it comes to writing pieces, do you have any like specific rituals or inspirations that help shape your creative and expressing your thoughts and emotions?
Sure. So previously, it was more of a case by case basis. I do believe that my art and talent comes from a very spiritual place. So I just honestly, when I'm in that moment, I just submit to that moment and I just start writing and writing and writing, and then I stop. And I normally just would go with what I wrote because it was authentic, it was raw, it was unfiltered, and that's how I like art to be. But now I'm switching gears a little bit and I'm just focusing on there's a movie called Vengeance. If you never watched it, I think that you would love it. And it's about recording and it's about storytelling. And so now I'm focusing more on storytelling. And there was one moment in there that really stood out, and it was he said, oh God, what was it? Um Whether or not you believe in God or the Big Bang Theory, we all believe that the universe started with sound. And that really stood out to me. And so he was like, so it was about music recording specifically, and that really stuck with me. And so I've been focused on recording. And so now I make a daily habit. It's not necessarily a I forgot the word you just used, but it's more of a routine for me. So I make a daily habit out of press and record, whether that's recording for film, for my content creator, because you can't be any kind of artist or nothing without being a content creator, not anymore. So I always press record. I record videos, myself talking, and I freestyle a lot. Like I freestyle poems, raps now, and just like put that in there to go to it later and review it and say, hey, can I actually use this? What story does this tell? Does it fit any of my current narratives? So that's the way I'm approaching it now.
And I know some of your pieces focus on, transformation and healing, just overall like mental health. Was there a personal turning point in your life, that influenced these themes?
They were like 20. The most recent one, since it's the most accessible though, was when I was still living in Detroit. I get this seasonal depression every year around my birthday, and which is in the summer. So it's very interesting that I get that around in summer, and obviously in the Midwest and in those dark environments, and sorry, cold environments, you have to stay in a lot more. So seasonal depression is really a huge thing in the winter there. But when I went through it around my last birthday, I started reading this book called The Mountain Is You. And in my latest work, you'll see the influence in there a lot. But I've always been attracted to mountains too. I have poems, even in the book I think that you have right there, called Mountains. So I like to do like part 2 and part 3 to my books, or to my poems to kind of follow up on that concept. But this summer I went through just another seasonal depression, and I had to ask myself and be real with myself and say like, what role am I playing in my own suffering right now? And that was big for me. I think that that unlocked a lot of different self transformation and healing things, and I have to ask myself that in every situation going forward, like what role am I playing in my own suffering? And literally, that has been one of the most transformative things for me.
Absolutely. And I know, many artists and just overall creatives, from time to time struggle with self-doubt or feeling like maybe their work isn't their best work or not good enough. What advice would you give to poets out there or writers or any type of creative person, that may be second guessing their talents or their capabilities?
Two things. The first one is no one's thinking about you that much. And what I mean by that is something I had to start telling myself. And the first time somebody said that to me, I'm like, why would you say that? I want people to think about me. I want that attention. But it's also, we all have our own insecurities. And this is literally something I wrote about in my latest work. We all have our own insecurities, and no one is judging us, is a better way to put that. We're all too busy judging ourselves to judge someone else. So that's the first part. The second part, I watched this interview with Lady Gaga. It was years back, and she was saying, you have to allow yourself to fail. And that really stuck with me, and I'm still trying to implement it, honestly. Like, this week I'm starting something we'll talk about later, but it's not perfect, and I just really have to start focusing on, and I say this again in my book, let things not be perfect. Perfect is boring, I think. It has to be this way, so it doesn't really allow for creativity. It's a formula that anyone could do. So that's what's been helping me, I think, the most right now.
And then I know you mentioned Lady Gaga, who are some of your biggest influences when it comes to poetry, literature, or just any type of art?
So honestly, Maya Angelou and Langston Hughes are very big. Obviously, it's Black History Month too, by the way. So love that for them. Those are two of my biggest non-living influences. But Beyonce writes really good poetry too. I will have to give it to her. And Brianna Weiss is the author of The Mountain Is You, which is, I promise you, is one of the most transformative books I've ever read in my life. I remember reading it, and I was in a relationship at the time, and the person came to me as I was reading it, and I was just bawling my eyes out at this book. And I was like, he was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No." Like, this book is so good. Because I'm a reader just like you. I have a bookshelf literally like 5 feet away from me that's slightly skinnier than yours, but yeah.
Definitely. I wrote it down on my notes. I'm gonna have to check it out. It's on
Yes.
my list. Yeah, and this is this is just some of them. I have like all over the floor
Literal
everywhere.
same. I have stacks in so many places.
Adds another book to his Amazon cart with the quickness, like no doubt. I want to talk a little bit about your current book, Four Oceans, a collection of poetry, and then I also know we're going to talk a little bit about your current projects that you're currently working on. But if you don't mind, we're going to go ahead and share. I think we have two pieces. Are we able? Let me just confirm that we have those available. Are we still good to share both of them, or?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So takers, we're gonna go ahead and play those for you guys, and then we'll come back and continue our conversation. Y'all gotta bear with me just a second, because like I said, I'm playing producer as well. Give me just a moment.
You're wearing all of those hats really well, by the way.
Thank you. I try.
I know it's a process.
All right, here is the first one, and this one is called One Day, correct?
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and watch you guys.
Give me what I need. I just need one day. One day I will get over not waking up next to you. One day I will get over your aura, your spirit, your energy, like an orchestra and harmony that I refuse to get out of my head. I will not even realize that we have gone a whole day without communicating. And I will still feel significance inside of my heart that no longer beats solely for you. And I will not be in love with anyone else other than myself. One day I will believe this poem. You cannot give me.
All right, so there is the first one, And then we have one more for you guys. So let's go ahead and share the next one.
Give thought to movement. Allow it to illuminate new perspectives. Give thought to rising, rotation, relocation. Imagine if we all got off of our asses and gave thought to our axis. Maybe then we could access a different waveform. Give thought to lighting, the design, the desire for direction. In this darkness.
All right. So those were just two of your pieces. I know, like I said, for those that don't have the actual copy of your book, what can readers expect from this project? And then can you talk to us a little bit about your current projects that you're currently working on as well?
Definitely. So Four Oceans was one of the most spiritual pieces of work that I did. I was really tapped into meditation and focusing on internal things and external things too. And so I was doing a lot of yoga, a lot of meditation, and I experimented a little bit in that first chapter with storytelling, which is something that I'm focusing a little bit more on going forward, and not only just in my poetry, but in actual literature. I was actually working on a novel when I moved home because I just moved home to Louisiana from Detroit 4 months ago, give or take. But when I've gotten home, I started working on a novel, but then I stopped. I was like, you need to be doing other things right now. But what's interesting is the second video kind of goes into the storytelling aspect of it, which I'm putting more emphasis on. And I think it's really important for us to have stories to connect to because we learn a lot about ourselves through someone else's example of it. So that's what the Four Oceans is about. It's a very spiritual book. And what's really interesting about that one, I know sometimes even myself, I'm very self-diagnosed but 100% undeniable ADHD, and I can't do things in a straight line. It just doesn't work for me. But reading that book, Four Oceans, in a straight line is exactly how that book was intended. Every poem, it was actually edited in post so I can get it to flow into the next poem, and it's one continuous long, like, I don't want to call it an epic because there's a lot of like science and stuff that goes into epics, but it's akin to what an epic would be, where it just flows from like page to page. So that's Four Oceans. Songs from the Summer is my latest work, and I'm still waiting on that copyright to come back. I released it as an ebook recently, and it is available on Amazon, but I added more value to it. And the value is only in quotations because it was already valuable, so I don't want to take away the value from that. But it goes into a little bit of that storytelling again. So I'm explaining what exact moment in my life, and it's very raw and very vulnerable about what happened, and explaining what inspired each poem or certain lines from the poems. And then I give writing prompts too, because I do think it's important for the audience to take away something from the art. And so a lot of times art is left for interpretation, which is fine. Like you go to a museum and you look at a painting and you just come up with whatever conclusion you want and you take that away, which is fine. But you're doing the same thing with poetry. I just think that for so long poetry hasn't been accessible, and it kind of went through a phase of like going up and down. So one way I'm trying to make it more accessible is by giving the audience like questions to ask themselves. And they're not easy questions, but they will gain a lot from asking themselves them.
Absolutely. I just read, and I don't know where it is on my shelf, but book recommendations. Go Higher. There we go. Maybe camera don't want to
Yeah,
work
I'm a
with
little
me.
visually impaired.
But it's called Go Higher: 5 Practices for Purpose, Success, and Inner Peace. It's by Big Sean.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's his new book that just dropped, I think last month, I believe. But yeah, definitely. I I I feel like because he, in some of the chapters, he, like you said, he poses these questions at the end of each chapter that really get you thinking about like self-improvement and just like overall mental health. What are your long-term goals as a poet and artist, and where do you see yourself in your creative talents within 2025 and the next 5 years?
First of all, the next 5 years are crazy because then I'll be 32. And I'm actually so excited to cross that 30 threshold. Like I'm so excited. The 20s are ghetto. Adulthood is the worst hood I've ever been to, but I have been told by many people, because for some reason I keep gravitating towards people who have already crossed that 30 threshold, and they're like, stop obsessing over age, which, one day I will, but I'm very close to doing that too. But in the next 5 years, I see myself becoming a force in the industries that I'm competing in. I don't like to compete, but that's what, life is about. So I'll be having a lot of different creative outlets. So, but I'm also marrying them all to each other. Right now, I'm mostly known as a poet, but the music is coming out very soon, and they're actually like so in sync. um the same topics that I'm talking about in poetry, I'm talking about it in a more catchy way and a more accessible way that people will start to that'll soak into their subconscious, but they don't really get the full meaning of what the songs are until they go into the poetry. And it also will be married to film, so I will be heavily involved in the film industry too. That second video that you played was a short film that I was just practicing with, because that just kind of goes into that allowing yourself to fail. I didn't fail on that video by no means, but it was like, it won't win a Grammy. It won't win, an Oscar. The short film won't, but it doesn't have to. It's just practice.
Absolutely. And I think, like you said, nowadays, especially, no matter what your career is, almost every career, you have to be some type of content creator. You have to have some type of social media following, or, content that's out there. So I think it's important, even if, you're just working on it every day and it may not be your best work currently, but who's to say what's to come, as long as you keep working and keep like working and building every day.
Yes. It's a strong foundation I'm trying to build with my next projects. Let me put it that way.
Absolutely. So we just have to stay tuned, because there's going to be more music, more poetry.
Yes. So I plan on dropping my single for my latest project very soon. It's called Miles Per Hour. And the theme is about running, because in that same book, Songs from the Summer, there's a poem. The first poem actually is called Triggered, and it lives up to his namesake. But there's a certain line in there where I'm talking about how I'm running. It says track star running shit. That's what I'm used to. And so I took that idea and really expanded on it musically. And Miles Per Hour is the first step of that journey, which I'm very excited for.
And do we have an official release date or a month yet? Or
We do, but in lieu of current circumstances, I think it'll be realistic to not say that date right now. So I want to under promise and over deliver. It will be out in February for sure.
All right. So I mean, it's February 6th already, so y'all are just gonna have to wait it out and see when it premieres. Before you get out of here, we've been playing rapid fire with all our guests tonight. So I do
Yes.
have a couple questions for you, completely random, not sent to any of our guests beforehand. So if you're down, if your
Sure.
poetry had a soundtrack, what 3 songs would be on it?
Oh God. So Triggered again. The way I wrote Triggered is it is a song. The name of the previous book is called Songs from the or I'm sorry, the latest book is Songs from the Summer. And so the reason why I did that is because it's poetry, but it's also this is the bridge from poetry to music for me, was that book. So Triggered is on there. It's the first poem in there. I also have one called The Habit of Heartbreak that doesn't necessarily rhyme, but it goes into some of those psychological topics, attachment theory to be specific, which is one hell of a it's one hell of a science, and it changed me in so many ways. And then there's one called Riddler that I personally really love. If you have time, I'll read it. It's very short. That's the shortest one out of the 3 of them.
Oh yeah, go. Yeah, you're more than
So
welcome.
Riddler says, I woke up this morning. I missed you. Thought I was done, but that is my issue. I'm quick to give up, but I really wish you would meet me in the middle. But you are so confusing. Everything with you feels like a goddamn riddle. Big personality, but you make me feel little. I like it. I might get attached if you write it. It's wrong that you did, but I doubt it. You are all about you, and I'm not about it.
Ooh, I'm doing the little finger. Isn't that what they do? The little finger snaps.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Hey, I love when we have because sometimes I'm nervous to ask guests like, oh, do you mind spitting a few bars for us? Some people will, and some people are like, oh no, nope, it's not happening. So no,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. What is your go-to creative snack or drink when writing or during like your creating process?
You know what? I'm so unhealthy when it comes to snacks. So we're gonna skip over that. Water, though, is a good creative drink. Honestly, mostly all I ever drink is water, but it's more spiritual than that. Again, the name of that book that you have right there is Four Oceans, and it really goes into how much I understood that water is very spiritual. So without going into all of that, because the book already does that, you're gonna have to just read it and see. But water is definitely like it cleanses you, it refreshes you. Like, you know how when you're in the shower and well, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but as creatives, I'm sure they may be able to relate to this. You're in the shower, you get a fucking song idea, which is the worst fucking place to have a song idea because you don't have anything to record in there normally. But water for sure.
Definitely. And then lastly, would you rather write a poem on the spot in front of an audience or freestyle a rap for 30 seconds?
Oh God. Probably a rap now because that's the bag that I'm focused on the most, and I've been really practicing freestyling for. You about to make me do it, aren't you? No, no, I can't do it right now because I'm on the spot. But probably a rap because I've been practicing, and it's gonna push my boundaries and get me out of my comfort zone, which was always poetry. So I like to get pushed and uncomfortable in order to create growth for myself.
Absolutely. Sonnie the Poet, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get out of here, any last minute takeaways that you would want our audience to know about you or just overall from this conversation and just about you as a creative?
Sure. So my creativity right now currently focuses on changing our mind in different ways, and you'll see a lot of that in songs from the summer. But I just want everyone to know that you don't have to subscribe to the life that was given to us, and that means so many things. But everything we got was learned from somebody who passed it on to us, and so one of the most important things I ever did was start questioning myself and questioning things that were given to me. And I just encourage everybody to do the same because there's so much noise out there that we absorb and soak in. So find yourself, find out what's really important to you and like why it's important to you.
Absolutely. Dropping gems like we always do every Thursday and Sunday. I just want to say thank you so much again for sharing part of your evening and sharing your talents with our audience. Looking forward to see what's next in this premiere dropping later this month, hopefully. And be sure to let everybody know, once again, Four Oceans, a collection of poetry. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can get this book and follow and connect with you on social media.
So that book is currently available on Amazon, and my social media is Sonnie the Poet, but Sonnie is spelled Sonnie. It's a derivative of my last name. And if you just go to my bio, I think it's in there. But if not, you can DM me and I'll send you the link to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And then, of course, we'll be sure to share your social media links where everybody can find you and purchase your book and be on the lookout for upcoming projects. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And you guys are watching Ty's Take Today live. Real quick, I have not forgot about those in the comments. I do want to say shout outs to Samantha checking in. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? And of course, as always, my mom saying, good job, Tyler. Love you. I love you too. Thank you for always sharing all of my posts and being one of my number one supporters. So shout outs to mama as well. And so usually we don't do this, but I figured closing us out today, I am going to share with you guys who's coming up next on Ty's Take Today Live on future episodes. So without further ado, we are talking this Sunday, February 9th. We will be talking to music artist 7 Deep, who's going to be chatting with us and talking to us about his story as a musical artist, what projects he's currently working on. And then I have to show you guys this because I've been looking at this periodically today, and I am excited for this guest. He goes by the name of Eyes of a Foodie, and he is a chef, a content creator, Rashawn Wilder. And look at these guys. Look at these cheesecakes. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just show y'all because these look incredible. I'm gonna just leave it there for a second. you guys can absorb it. It just looks good. And I don't know. I'm supposed to be hitting the gym and getting it together, but we're going to be talking to Rashawn about his journey as not only a chef, but a foodie and content creator. And then we'll also be talking to Ariel Mock, who is a artist, photographer, and all-around creative. So that is happening Sunday. I'm gonna get these cheesecakes off. I swear. There we go. Back to Tyler. So those guests, like I said, 7 Deep, Eyes of a Foodie, and Ariel Mock will be joining us this Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Even though Tyler doesn't know how to use Twitch, it's a work in progress. But I just want to say thank you all so much for rocking with us today and tuning into this edition of Ty's Take Today Live. I know we gave you guys almost like an hour and 30-minute show, which sometimes you're going to get 2 guests, sometimes you're going to get 1 guest, sometimes you'll get 3 guests, but it's always going to be hosted by your favorite. So that gives you guys a reason to watch. Like I said, be sure to follow us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on upcoming episodes and previous episodes and interviews that we have done. It's right there, youtube.com/@itsTysTakeToday. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well @itsTysTakeToday. Facebook.com/@itsTysTakeToday. I'm gonna get off of here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Like I said, Kroger, if y'all want to sponsor your boy, y'all know where to find me. And that's gonna do it for this edition. Also, real quick, shout outs to everybody watching, and of course, one more time, all the love and respect to my guests. We talked to the hilarious comedian Barb. Be sure to check out her project on YouTube, on Tubi, which is currently streaming. It is called Only in My Hood. Had to make sure that I got that title correctly. Like I said, so comedian Barb. Shout outs to Rocki Harris from Rocki's Reality. Shout outs to Sonnie the Poet. And we'll be sure to put everyone's social media links and where you guys can connect and follow them in the description and captions of this video. That's it. Ty's Take Today Live. We'll see you guys right back here on Sunday.